Greetings! Today I have the Boss FS-6 dual foot switch. Now there's some advantages to doing this in one chassis as opposed to buying individual foot switches, and I'm going to explain those advantages and features here to you today. Now this is two completely independent foot switches in one chassis, and that is revealed as you look at the back of the unit here where all the jacks and switches are. As you can see, there's an A side and a B side, and by isolating each one you can see that there is the exact same features on each side. Now I'm going to isolate just one to show you the features since it's identical on the other side. Of course, you have a polarity switch, and what that does without getting overly complicated is it reverses the positive and negative electrical characteristics of this foot switch. Most devices don't care what that's on, so if I were to tell you to put it one way, I'd say move it to the left side from this perspective. Next we have the mode switch, which is the unique feature that stands this FS-6 apart from other foot switches, and that's because it allows you to switch this pedal's function between the two major types of foot switches out there. The first is a latching type of foot switch, which is similar to the FS-5L as labeled here. The other is a momentary foot switch, also called an unlatching foot switch, such as the FS-5U. Which mode you set it to is going to depend entirely on what you're plugging it into. But for the simplicity of this video, I'm going to give you two examples where you would use each of these modes. The first is this regular amplifier that I have that has a single foot switch jack. That jack allows you to change between the clean and the lead channels of that amplifier. In the documentation it says that I need to use a latching type of foot switch. So to do that function I must have it in the FS5L mode. Again, the polarity side doesn't really matter much, but if it does act a little wonky, you can move it to the other side and see if that improves the situation. Now for the second example, I'm going to use a Stompbox effects pedal, such as this DD20. This allows you to connect a foot switch to act as a tap tempo. In the documentation for the DD20, it says that foot switch must be an unlatching type, also known as a momentary type of foot switch, in order to work properly. So when I connect this jack to the foot switch jack on the back of the DD20, I must move this over to the FS5U side. So those are just two examples at which you would use this mode switch. Now the last thing I'm going to point out to you is the center jack. Now instead of using the individual A and individual B jacks and therefore two separate guitar cables, you can combine the two signals through one cable with this center jack. However, you cannot use a standard guitar cable, you must use a TRS cable, which looks like this. It has two rings separating three metal sections, just like this picture here. This is most useful for devices that have one jack that allows two foot switches to be connected to it simultaneously. A good example of that would be my old PV amplifier here. Here's the foot switch that it uses. As you can see, there is two foot switches, one for selecting the lead and clean channels, and the other for turning the effects loop on and off. But there isn't two cables and two jacks coming out of it, it's just a single cable. But it ends in a TRS jack, just like this. So if something were to happen to this pedal, or I just don't like it, then I can replace it entirely with this FS-6 just by connecting a TRS cable here to the center jack and the other end of that cable to the back of the amplifier. Now the last thing I'm going to point out is that this does have a power light. That means that it needs a battery, just a standard 9-volt, to function properly. Now most people are concerned about this, however, when you're done playing or with your gig, if you unplug cables from it, then it's not going to use the battery at all, just like you would for any other Stompbox pedal in your arsenal. Well, that's the Boss FS-6 dual foot switch. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please comment below.